Record.
Good evening. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Good evening and welcome to the West Milton Council meeting for December 11th, 2018. If I can ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Steve Peters of Grace Haven Church. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a tradition at our church that whenever somebody has a birthday on the day that we meet, which would be on Sunday, you guys don't meet on Sundays, but you meet on Tuesdays. And I heard today is someone's birthday. Is that true?
It's mine.
So we always
It's
sing to them,
mine.
okay? Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy birthday to you.
Fun.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
One more year until the big 4-0. One more. Thanks, Steve.
And then before I pray, there's only one person in here that's of my vintage. I was thinking about it coming over here. Nobody's the same when I first started coming over here to pray, except Linda, I think. So Linda already gets one. So Alice, you get a box of candy, okay? There we go.
I love that.
Let's pray. God, thank you for your love. Thank you for the privilege we have to know you. And God, faces change over the years, and yet the intent is the same, and that's what we pray for, that you might give these young men and women wisdom, that you might just help them, Lord, as they make hard and tough decisions on our behalf. And Lord, we're so privileged to live in a community like this, and so Lord, you use them in order to make it better. And so Lord, just be with them tonight. Just allow them to just do the things that you would have them to do, that we would all say, yeah, we understand that, and that's really good. And help us to pray for them, and to really try to encourage them as well, God. We thank you, Lord. Just we ask for your anointing on this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor, for reminding us of somebody's birthday. We appreciate it, and everything else that you do. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Present.
Land.
Here.
Cobb.
Here.
Hurst is absent. Fogel.
Here.
Dorman's absent. And Grudich.
Here.
At this time, are there any motions to excuse any absent council members?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Dorman and Councilmember Hurst.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Fogel.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Everyone should have received in their packet minutes from the council meeting on November the 13th, as well as the workshop on November the 27th. Are there any motions for those minutes?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve council meeting minutes for November 13th and council workshop November 27th.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Manager Klein, is there any correspondence for council this evening?
None this evening.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to open the floor to the citizens for any comments regarding tonight's legislation. There are 4 pieces, 1 ordinance, and 3 resolutions. The ordinance is the 2019 appropriations, and then resolutions for waste management contract, approving a loan, and the municipal manager's contract. All right. Seeing no comments at this time, I'd like to move on to ordinances and resolutions. CM 18-38, an ordinance 2019 appropriations. Ms. Brush.
It's an ordinance to appropriate funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio for the year 2019.
Thank you. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. It's our budget for 2019. I'd like to thank my staff and especially the council for working together. I thought it went very smoothly. The budget basically reflects just slightly over a 1% increase from for 2018. We're holding our guns steady. Revenues are fair, so we're keeping expenses tight.
Thank you. Any motions for,
Make a motion to accept the ordinance CM-18-38 as written.
Second.
roll call, please?
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to CM-18-40, a resolution for the waste management contract. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution approving an amendment to the current contract with Waste Management for the collection and disposal of commingled recycling and authorizing the municipal manager to execute said amendment. Whereas the municipality of West Milton Council approved an agreement with Waste Management of Fairborn, Ohio for the collection and disposal of residential curbside refuse and commingled recycling and yard waste disposal services through Resolution 15-38. And whereas national and international markets for recycling materials are in a constant flux primarily due to countries such as China no longer accepting U.S. recycling goods. And whereas it is the desire of both municipal council and Waste Management to work together to ensure that commingled recycling continues at a reasonable cost. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized and directed to execute an amendment to the contract with Waste Management for the collection and disposal of residential curbside refuse, commingled recycling, and yard waste removal and billing. See attached. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. As we try to do in every resolution, the whereases are just as important as the body of the language of any of our legislation. And we're trying to be very clear that, and you may have read in the newspaper or heard on the news, that recycling is making a big change. I think first off, I'll give a little personal comment. It took over years. I remember being young, and took years to get people to want to recycle. We got it to the point where, if in doubt, throw it in a recycling bin, and the dirty MRFs, so to speak, they'll take care of that. And countries, as we've pointed out, such as China used to take 70, 80% of all of our recycling, no matter what it looked like. And beginning of this year, especially China, has just closed their doors. And now they're being very picky about what they take, if they take anything. When they did this, they literally just shut their doors. There were container ships in the Pacific Ocean going to China, and they were told, stop. And I don't know if the ships are still out there, but there's garbage, what was considered recycling material, just out there floating around trying to figure out what to do. So companies such as Waste Management, Rumpke, and other major refuse companies are trying to scurry around and figure out what to do and how to do it. So that's where we're facing. So we have worked with our carrier, Waste Management. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Melinda Antel from Waste Management and to speak about this. We are facing some things that we need to re-educate. That's probably the most important thing that we need to do. But we are facing a small amendment to our current contract. So, Melinda, do you mind?
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here again tonight with you all. I did bring even the latest and greatest. I visited with the council previously, but things keep changing, and there's what I'm going to pass to Karen here on the end is an article from the Dayton News with an interview with Steve Sargent, who runs Rumpke's processing plant, where the recyclables that we collect in West Milton are taken. And he talks about how much things have changed. And the title of the article is "Contamination Makes Recycling Money Loser." It costs, and then the subtitle, "It costs Rumpke millions to sort out items that shouldn't go in the bin." So if you'd be so kind as to pass those down. I only point that out because part of the amendment that we are proposing gives us the ability to change the list of recyclables that we will collect for the residents of West Milton, should we need to do so given these ongoing changes in the market. And this article talks about it. And the second page that I have attached to the back is the list directly from Rumpke's website of what they were accepting as of yesterday. We did change, per Mr. Land's comments, the specifications, which are the second page of the amendment that I'm requesting, to make sure it matches up with this, and that there's no need right now for any written consent. The delivery specifications now match what Rumpke is taking today from us. We also eliminated, at council request, any contamination charges that might be assessed, so those have been taken out as well. With that, I will just take any additional questions from council or our manager.
The biggest thing is not only have the recycling materials changed, and it's also very clear, and I'm just going to give it in layman's terms, contamination. As an example, get done with the jelly jar, clean it, rinse it out, get it clean before you throw it into your recycling bin. And that's what Melinda was hinting at mentioning was contamination. Some of our concerns of the originally proposed amendment was possible fines or not taking it, and there would be extra costs involved because Rumpke is going to charge Waste Management for delivering contaminated goods. So that charge needs to go back to the actual consumers or customers. So what we've asked and what Melinda has graciously agreed to, and I have to give a lot of credit to Councilman Land for all of his work on the review of this contract, is that if the driver sees that it's contaminated, they won't take it. But don't be surprised, homeowners, that you may see somebody opening up your recycling bin, looking at it to make sure that it's not contaminated, that it doesn't have light bulbs, that it doesn't have porcelain sinks, that it doesn't have things that aren't actually recycling. So there's probably going to be some time when your recycling may not be picked up. You're going to call City Hall, and we'll have to explain to you that probably it's got something that's not recyclable. The other thing that the agreement does is that we have agreed to partner with them that should they face any charges from Rumpke that exceed $35 a ton, that we would share in that additional cost. What's that mean? If it goes over $35 a ton, and let's say it goes to $40 a ton, and it goes to $40 a ton, then we, as consumers, may see 1 penny or a 2 penny increase on our garbage, on our refuse bill. So it's just that, but you think it's just a penny, but you're also talking about 1,700 customers, and not just us, but every other community that waste management. So pennies add up to major dollars when it comes to providing this service. So those are the two biggest things that this amendment does. We will share in costs that anything that exceeds $35 a ton. Currently, the Rumpke is charging 27?
I believe it's $29.87.
$29.87 a ton, and holding.
Yes.
We have noticed that Rumpke has negotiated with other communities, such as us, that they service basically the same amount of money is what Waste Management has negotiated with us in holding those fees. So we're hoping that this is the worst, and it doesn't get as bad, or what everything was projected. But those are the two major things that's in this amendment. We will share in the cost if it exceeds $35 a ton, and the items that are recyclable have been reduced and made clear. Education material will start going out. It's currently, or should be, on our website. We'll probably do some Facebook things. We'll work with Waste Management to put together inserts in our water utility bills to get the education out. So that's what this amendment is. We have just over 2 years remaining on our contract with Waste Management.
Very good.
And if I'm not mistaken, we also talked about getting some stickers as well from Waste Management that we could put on our recycle bins that tells you exactly what is allowed to go in as a reminder. And that's something I believe we work with you and try to get for you as well.
Right.
And what is the name of the website again, so we can provide that to our viewers as well?
Recycle often, recycleright.com.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is it likely to get to that $35 mark? Like, how many people in Milton would it take for us to be, you know what I mean? Like, getting contaminated things, that price would go up. Does that make sense?
It's more dependent on the community as a whole. Like, when I say community, I mean the Central Ohio community that's taking materials to the MRF, and also the markets, because that processing cost that we're talking about, which is $29 today, and there's no charges, additional charges to your community unless it exceeds 35, that's a net number based on the actual cost to process, which is considerably higher than that, subtracting out the sale of recyclables. And so with the markets to China being closed down, it's causing an overabundance of supply, which means prices are coming down. So less money is coming in. Some of those markets are non-existent, or they're being overwhelmed with domestic supply. So it's really a net figure and not so much about what an individual in West Milton might be doing.
Or not just West Milton?
Exactly.
Okay, I was assuming that they were looking at West Milton as a whole, but you could be, I hate to use the word punished, but, you know, start having to pay extra fees if the, Ohio region or whatever.
Like I said, it's really more about the markets.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important to keep everything as clean as possible for two reasons. Number one, it's going to make sure that we can find markets for those materials. And number two, it's going to keep the processing costs low. Because the more contamination that goes into the material recovery facility, the more people they need to have on the processing line, and possibly the slower they need to run that line, which increases the processing cost and makes that net amount then even lower, so.
Okay.
And
I'd like to note, we're not the only community that's dealing with this. I mean, every community probably in Ohio is dealing with this currently. I happen to have acquaintances or friends who live in northern Ohio. One's a fireman that works west side of Cleveland community, and they collect their own, the municipality does, and they're actually going door to door, looking in everybody's recycling and writing tickets, explaining to them, and the potential is some sort of a fine. This amendment doesn't do that. We're not proposing that. But that's what that community is doing. That's what my fireman friend explained to me. He says it's nuts of the things that other communities, and fortunately we have waste management. We don't have to face this on our own.
I believe while we were having the discussion in our workshop, some of the things that came up were, like glass bottles, metal cans that have been cleaned out, clean cardboard boxes, so no dirty pizza boxes with grease or anything like that. And I believe that we kind of, I'm not sure who said it, but they said it the best was, if in doubt, you need to throw it out instead of back into the recycling, how we have been doing for so long. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at right now. So I would encourage everybody else that's out there that if you're not sure, to go ahead and place it into the trash versus the recycling. And then again, say it one more time, the website.
Recycle often, recycleright.com.
Thank you. Just so that everybody gets that out. So yeah, thank you. And I don't know if anybody else has. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate all the information and the resources that you have given us. We look forward to the stickers and any other resources that we can use to get the word out there to make sure that we're doing our part in the community. So,
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, is there any motions for the resolution?
Make a motion to accept CM 18-40 as written. What?
Okay. Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Fogel,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to CM-18-41, a resolution approving a loan. Ms. Brush.
It's an ordinance to authorize the municipality of West Milton, Ohio to enter into a loan agreement with Minster Bank to borrow money in order to finance the purchase of 28 Lowry Drive and declaring an emergency. Whereas it has been determined by the West Milton Council through Resolution 18-31, passed September 11, 2018, that it is in the best interest for the village to purchase 28 Lowry Drive. And whereas the official closing on said property was conducted on November 7, 2018, which included an executed promissory note to the previous owner of $100,000 to be paid on January 4, 2019. And whereas it has been further determined that it is in the best interest financially to execute a short-term borrowing of $50,000 to fulfill the promissory note. And whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio has determined that entering into a loan agreement with Minster Bank is the most beneficial option for the municipality based on the terms of the agreement. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipality of West Milton, Ohio shall enter into an agreement with Minster Bank for a loan not to exceed $50,000 with an interest rate of 3% for a period of 5 years. Section 2, the Council for the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio hereby authorizes the municipal manager and the Director of Finance to enter into such loan agreement with Minster Bank on behalf of the municipality. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and general welfare, and shall be effective upon its passage.
Manager Klein?
Well, the ordinance does exactly what it just described. We were able and lucky enough to be able to purchase 28 Lowry Drive, which is literally 10 feet, right behind the mayor. We are having growing pains, especially amongst the fire and police departments. That is really the sole purpose. That particular building was actually identified back in 2012 as the potential way for us to be able to allow this building to be utilized a little bit better from a square footage standpoint for police and fire. Having said that, we were able to negotiate a very favorable term with the owner of Lowry. We did close on that building. It did include a promissory note for $100,000 to be paid on January 4th, which would be in our next budget year. And we have the $100,000. We could just write it to them if we wanted to. But we started thinking about cash flow and cash management. Finance director and I have worked with Minster Bank. We have some laddering effects on some CDs that we have. Municipality is very limited on what you can do with any of your cash. So we thought, especially at 3%, no one's getting that right now. We have a good relationship with them. It's easy for our next 5 budgets to just absorb those little bit of costs and allow us to maintain our cash balances in the bank. So we just thought it would be wise, since the terms are so favorable, to just do it this way. And anything that has to do with finances has to be an emergency. We're not going to have 2 council meetings before January 4th, so we weren't going to close on the loan until the end of December, so we could write the check on January 4th, because our next meeting is actually the second Tuesday in January. So that's why it's an emergency. Typically, we don't do emergencies. I think we did 2 this whole year.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments? Any motions?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept resolution CM 18-41.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Last one for tonight, 18-42, resolution for the municipal manager contract.
It's a resolution to authorize the continuing employment of the municipal manager and to authorize the adoption of the new employment agreement for the municipal manager attached hereto. Whereas the current municipal manager, Matthew D. Klein, was originally hired in December 2011, and his contract was extended in December 2012, and again in December 2014, and again in December 2016. And whereas the municipal manager's existing contract is due to expire at the end of 2018. And whereas the Council for the Municipality of West Milton believes that it is in the best interest of the Municipality of West Milton to continue the services of the municipal manager. Whereas the existing municipal manager has represented the village professionally and tirelessly during his current tenure. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the Council wishes to continue the services provided by the current municipal manager, Matthew D. Klein. Section 2, that Council pursuant to the Charter wishes to enter into the employment agreement attached to this resolution, which shall be incorporated herewith as Exhibit A. Section 3, that Council hereby establishes the compensation and benefits for the municipal manager as specifically set forth in the employment agreement, with the salary to be continued at $79,609. Section 4, the mayor and vice mayor for the municipality of West Milton are hereby authorized to execute the employment agreement for the municipal manager attached hereto. Section 5, that this resolution shall be effective on and after the earliest date permitted by law.
Thank you. I believe that it was a pretty favorable contract for the city, and we appreciate the services that Manager Klein has provided to us so far, and we continue to look forward to continuing to work with you. And
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you for your support.
I know it was there. Excuse me. The rest of the language was pretty well laid out there, and I don't know if you want to add anything else to it, Matt, or?
I've been doing government work since, I'm 55 years old. I've been doing this since I was first elected mayor of my hometown when I was 22. I say this repeatedly, and I mean this, including my gig as mayor when I was just a kid. It's the best job I've ever had. And as long as the council will have me, I will be here. I plan on retiring from here, I hope. So I'll give you my 12-year notice right now. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any motions?
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to accept CM 18-42 as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Scott, or Land,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
Fogel,
Yes.
Girdich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Good afternoon. Manager Klein, any report for the municipal manager?
Not really. There's not much to report, although there's quite a bit to report. First off, just a couple housekeeping items. Just a reminder, that our next council meeting will actually be the second Tuesday in January, not the first Tuesday. That's because there's been no municipal elections. That only happens when we have municipal elections, and there were none this fall. 2018 was really an exciting year for the village. We were very busy with a number of things. I'm proud to say that if you go down to our parks, our new playground is completely finished, including the concrete slide and all of the landscaping around there. The council has done a tremendous amount of work in that park, including a 9-hole disc golf now, amongst other things. It's really a tremendous asset. That's one of several things. Our Ben Heron and his crew have been extremely busy this year. We've painted 2 water towers. So from a infrastructure standpoint, we have really strengthened ourselves on the water side. We have done a complete review of our wastewater treatment facilities for this year. We have put together a 5-year plan that we will start executing in 2019 at our wastewater treatment plant. It's just like everything else. Once we paid it off, it needs to be maintained, and council has committed to doing that, just keeping our infrastructure strong. We have now over 4 miles of Hometown Hero banners that we continuously get calls on all the time. The banners are down. Some of them need to be maintained a little bit. There's some of the threading on the old original ones are starting to wear. We did find a banner company that we're taking them to in Troy locally, hopefully to be repaired and cleaned. So cross your fingers on that. We have finally, over the course of time, been able to bring our police department almost back up to full strength of 9 officers. We did have a resignation here in the last couple of weeks, but we do have a candidate we believe who's in the final testing stages that we believe will be able to bring to council to fulfill that. The fire department, the company has refurbished engine 2, and we will soon be putting out our old ladder truck out for bids or for sale. And we were fortunate enough to find a reconditioned one that's in excellent shape in Texas. So that's a brand new piece of apparatus that will be coming here in the next couple of weeks. And then what everyone wants to talk about, we've had some new businesses come into town. Revive It's one of them. And the Dollar General has relocated. Dollar Tree that's confirmed. Dollar Tree is going where Mr. Deals used to be. O'Reilly Auto Parts has joined our family of businesses here in town. We have a couple other new businesses downtown. We actually have to be honest with you, I haven't heard what she's going to call it, but the coffee shop and the deli across the street from Revive It She should be opening here, I believe, in another couple weeks or so. She's really working hard. Some things are really changing and upgrading. Many of our businesses have upgraded their facades, McDonald's being one of them. And we are seeing some growth. Of course, everyone wants me to talk about Stillwater Crossings development, so I saved that for the last. We did approve a plan. We have improved the infrastructure, and we have put together in place the TIFs and the zoning for that. Yes, it's going to happen. Many of the businesses that have committed out there and/or residents that have committed out there have signed contracts to make their, to guarantee the bond payments. He's in his last stages, and I truly mean that. They're hoping that the last meeting will be this Friday for one of the medical facilities. I'm hoping, I know that they're this close in agreement to everything. Once that gets done, I would anticipate at least another 8 to 10 weeks worth of legal and financial work that needs to be put in place, which probably would be just right because winter hopefully will be ending by then and ground will be broken. We're just this close, but it's really the pebble in the calm water that's really going to start a ripple effect. Another major thing that we are accomplishing this year, and you'll start construction a year from now or less than a year from now, is sending sanitary sewer to our neighbors to the north, Ludlow Falls. Very important. We were fortunate enough to get $1 million grant from the Army Corps of Engineers that's going to make that happen. So overall, it's been a very busy year. Our car show was very strong this year. 400 cars, something like that. The July 4th committee, unfortunately the passing of Jack Scudmore, but several residents in town have stepped up to the plate and formed a committee to keep July 4 going. I know they had a quarter auction last Friday. I've not been able to, I was out of town, wasn't able to attend it, but I haven't heard how it went, but they're being very aggressive. We have had a really good relationship with several of our downtown business owners, and we are thinking about and studying on how that we can partner with them to be able to attract some free concerts in our downtown and our parks area. We hope to do several, or at least a couple, movies in the park, which are free to the public next year. So we have a lot of plans for next year. It's going to be a very busy year. This was an extremely busy year. Next year, I think, is going to be even busier. A lot of, you can't make a cake unless you break eggs. Next year, we've put all the ingredients on the table this year. There's going to be several eggs broken next year. So we ask for your patience while we improve things. So other than that, I'd like to thank council for your confidence in me. I appreciate the renewal of the contract. It's heartfelt. Thank you so much. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas to our TV audience and also our audience here as well. Pastor Peters, it's always nice to have you in December. And
I look more like Santa Claus.
you look good. You look really good. And that's all I have for this evening. Just a reminder, typically we do not have a workshop in December. Unless you guys aren't busy on December 25th, we could have one. But technically, you do need to make a motion to cancel that meeting prior to adjournment for tonight. And thank you.
Thank you, Manager Klein.
With that said, I make a motion that we skip December 25th's workshop.
Second?
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Matt, I just have one question in reference to the Dollar Tree.
Sure.
Is there any projected opening date? I know I saw there's been some work being done over there and so forth. Just curious.
No, I've not talked to the contractors themselves. It's really contractors that are in here working for Dollar Tree. We did do some plumbing inspection for them today. They had some questions. Obviously, they just call us and we get there ASAP, but no, I do not. One thing that was made clear to me is that Dollar Tree is taking over the entire building, but they're not using the entire space. They're actually going to build a wall somewhere in there. So it'll be a Dollar Tree on one end, and then in between the Subway and the Dollar Tree will be a empty new space. Perhaps they have a tenant, I have no idea, but it'll be another retail space there. And I don't know how big that'll be.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any old business for council tonight? I only have one thing, not really new business, but I would like to just say thank you to all the city workers for all the hard work that they do. I know that they go above and beyond quite often to make sure that, we're financially stable, and they try to save us as much money as they can. So we appreciate that very much. The public appreciates that very much. They're good stewards of what we're able to provide them. And then I would also like to say thank you to everybody out there for my first year as mayor, for all the public support, and being able to represent everybody has been an honor for me. It's giving me chills right now. It's very important to me, and I will continue to do my utmost for everybody out there. So I'd like to say thank you and Merry Christmas. Any other new business? Any comments by citizens this evening? Ms. Martin.
I just want to thank each and every one of you on the council for your dedication, for your concern for our community, and for all that you've done. And Manager Klein, I think you've done an outstanding job. I think we owe our community. We have an outstanding police department, we have an outstanding fire department, and our community is very blessed. And I know we're not perfect, there's nobody perfect, at least I've never met anyone yet that way. I just want to say Merry Christmas to each of you, and to thank you for all your service. And we've had that street department, I'm telling you people, I don't know if anybody really realizes how much they've done for us and saved us money. And we really owe everybody in our community a big thanks. And I love West Milton. I'm sorry, I'm no Franklin Road yet, but I love this town. So Merry Christmas to all of you, and thank you all so much for all you've done.
Oh,
Thank
you.
you.
Merry Christmas.
At that, I would like to, any motions for adjournment this evening?
I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.